So, Mr. DP, you can start.
Sure, let me share my screen. Getting my screen. I hope my screen is visible to you all. And I am Dheeraj. I'm here working as an instructor in Python for Python Network Automation and Skill Inspirations Academy. I welcome you one more time. And let's quickly start with the demo session for today. So I believe that you guys are from different backgrounds. So few guys are from freshers background, few guys are from experienced one, but they don't have any hands-on experience on programming, or they even don't know the programming at all. So few of the guys know the any other language, but they are new to the Python. So this is the good platform for you guys. So here in our network Python automation course, we are starting our course from the basics of the Python, that how we gonna deal with the Python from the scratch up to the end of the network automation. So before starting with the network automation, I just want to clear one doubt in your mind, that this could be a huge doubt. There are few network engineers could be thinking about that. What could be the difference between Python developers and our network engineers, or we can say a network Python developer, right? Or you can say network developer, right? So basically guys, these are two different terms. Let me explain the difference. So what Python developer will do, Python developer write will create 100 lines of code and build a package for us, right? So what is meant by package and module, that we will see in our classes, but this is the work of Python developer. Now, being a network developer, what we need to do is we are using those packages which has been created by network Python developer in our environment to automate our network devices, right? So that is a major difference in between Python developer and network developer. And this is the key advantages that we have, is we need to waste our time to write 100 lines of code or 1,000 lines of code to build a new package. What we are doing is we are just using those package in our network automation, right? So this is just a small difference. I hope that you have heard about network automation, that if you want to automate your scripting environment, if you need to automate your configuration environment, we all know, being a network engineer, dealing with the changes, P1 P2 calls, it's day by day, it is very critical stuff is going on. So let's take an example. If you need to push the configuration of, let's say, 1,000 lines, right, 1,000 lines of configuration to 5,000 devices, right? So what is our latest process? Let's take a purest example of OSPF. If you need to pass this OSPF configuration on 5,000 devices, it is gonna take huge time to log in to that particular devices with the username and passwords, and then we need to go to the configuration mode and then paste line by line code. That could be the issue with, we could get the errors in between as well, right? So this all like of regular stuff that we need to avoid over here. We are now automating our network stuff, and hence you guys, after this class, you guys will be tagged as Python network developer, right? Let's move ahead with the further slides. So this is something about me, guys. I have total 8 years of experience in network domain. Plus, I have certified in Python, CCNA, Automation Anywhere, which is RPA platform, AWS, and recently I have just completed my cybersecurity warrior certification. And since 5+ years, I'm working as a network developer in one of the reputed organization. So we are dealing with one step ahead of the network automation, that we will gonna discuss in our live session, or could be in the first class, that what is the next step of network automation, right? Let's move ahead. Okay, now the question is why we need to learn network automation. So there are few steps I'm just writing over here. First is for configuring the devices, right? I just told you, let's take an example of OSPF. We just saw that we have to fetch or we have to send that configuration to the devices. It just not depends on OSPF. You can take any of the routing protocols. You can take any of the running config of another devices. Let's take one route. Let's take two routers. You need to copy paste or you need to clone this router. Let's say router 1 and router 2. You need to clone router 1 into router 2. Automation will gonna help you guys, right? And it's a smart one. If there is some configuration which is already there, it will not override that configuration. Although if you want to, it can, but it will not override automatically. That will save the time and increase the speed of the automation. Second is monitoring. So monitoring is, guys, we all know that we are paying huge cost of solar wind and like stuff for monitoring tools, right? So here Python is free of cost. Why we are not moving towards the Python? Python can do the monitoring for you. Let's take an example. You have a router in the data center. In the router, we have suppose two links, two ISP links that we have connected. One of the ISP gets failed, and there could be the P1 call, obviously. And if you are going to join that P1 call, you could get you could need a time to that what link has been down, right? Although you'll get an alert, but let's take an example. You need to verify that alert as well, right? So you need to log into the router and then going to that particular interface and then checking the logs and BGP summary and all, right? Now this process is old. Now what we can do is we can ask our Python to keep an eye on this router, not only this router, entire devices in your data centers, right? So whenever there is an issue with this ISP, whenever this particular interface gets down, it will directly get a pop-up alert. Either could be on email, either could be on whatever in any which format that you want. That is totally depends on you. That is the one concept of monitoring. Now third is testing part. Now guys, testing is like, let's take an example. If you are doing some changes, priority changes in the morning, right? Means midnight or in the midnight time after the business hours. So what could be possible that after pushing the configuration, we have to validate those changes, right? So for validation purpose, we need to again write show commands, right, to validate what are the changes that we have performed. But this thing also network automation can do for you. Even if it is fine, it will gonna send you the alert as well that all the configuration has been fine to the routers or switches, right? So these are many things. Logs as well you can create. You can save those logs in any of the format. Let's say if you are raising a tag case and they want us to send us a log for it, right? So for that log, what the process that we used to do is show logs, show take file and all this, all process that we can automate. We can get the logs within a minute, right? So this like of stuff we will see in our class, in the regular class, right? So the second thing is like I was telling about that BGP issue, right? That BGP has been down, the ISP has been down, that how we can correlate with this. So guys, this is one of the same condition. Here, what I did is, let's consider this is a L3 switch, or let's consider this is a router, right? And here, let's take an example. If I need to monitor this ISP, right? This could be the Vodafone or ATT or any ISP, right? I have my Python code, or let's say I have interpret this particular interface with the help of Python, right? I ask Python to monitor this interface anyhow because it's a data center interface. After some time, I have observed that there are many input errors are coming. So we, being a network engineer, we all know the process. We need to contact the ISP and getting ticket and raise or not. It will gonna take time, right? Because we need to log into that particular interface, and unless and until there is an issue with your network, you are not going to check each and every interface. But I can tell Python that if this particular counter has been too high, you can set the limit as well, right? Then shut down the interface directly. And if you shut down that interface, it will gonna pop up the alert, means you will get notified. This is the first thing. Second thing is like the coverage will gonna send to the backup path, so there will be no issue in your network, right? And then if the connection will go to the backup path, you can deal with this particular interface and you can proceed further. So this like of stuff you can do with Python. Now, this is our general, what we can say, scene. Let's take an example of 6 switches. And in this 6 switches, what you want to do is you need to configure the interfaces. So up till GI0/0, you need to configure to each of the switches with different IP address and VLAN you need to add, right? So this you could see that you could say that this is a very simple task. What you can do is quickly go to the routers, copy one format in the text file, and then apparently change this 11, 12, 13 up to the 16, right? This is a day-to-day format. But now we need to act smartly, because it could be possible that during copy pasting you could make a mistake, right? So during that, for dealing with that mistake, it will gonna again waste your time to fetch that mistake where it was, right? Where it will be. Now what we can do is we can automate our code that this particular interface configuration we can do within, believe me, within 50 seconds. Within 50 seconds. Because let's take an example. Even though if we are dealing with, if you want to configure a one interface of the switch, it will gonna invest, if you are too smart, or you can say too fast, I can say it will gonna take at least 2 minutes of time, at least, right? So every 6 switches we are dealing with only 50 seconds. Isn't it very fast? And that's the power of automation and Python, right? So we will deal with why Python, why I have choose Python, but yes, this is the power of automation. Let's move ahead. Now, this is even the simple funda that we used to deal with. Let's take example that this particular user get the issue, and this particular interface has goes down, right? So what is our usual process? We used to get the IP address or MAC address from the user. We used to trace that particular, we used to log into the particular nearest switch, and then via nearest switch we are raising, or we are reaching out to the exact switch where the user is connected. Same procedure, show MAC address table and then show CDP neighbors and all, right? And then at the end, if we have got this switch and we observe that this GI 15 0/15 has the issue with it, and then we are going to troubleshoot this issue. Now, let's take an example. In this particular interface, you have another entire office has been connected, right? So it could be P1 or priority 1 or priority 2 calls. Then it will gonna waste your time to log into this switch, and then this switch. No, this is the regular way to do or to monitor your devices. What you can do is you can ask Python to monitor each and every switches, and which is free of cost, right? So what you can do is whenever this interface will goes down, it will gonna send you the alert, right? And you can quickly go to this switch and you can troubleshoot the issue. Now, guys, one thing I want to be clear, I hope that this could be the question at the end of the lecture, but see, Python is just a language, right? So you could be afraid, or most of the network engineers could be afraid that if everyone is learning automation, then there is a no use of network engineers. No, that is false. Thing is, like, Python network automation is just one step ahead to work easy in your day-to-day process, right? This is a usual task we used to do. It will make you comfortable to run this task, and you can invest those timing to learn more thing, to upgrade your skills, right? So this is the difference on it. Let's move ahead. So this is the slide from Cisco, guys, and this particular slide has, I mean, this Cisco has been telling is like up to 95% of the network changes today done manually. Obviously, that we all are. I think only few companies, if you could expect, excluded Cisco or few of the multinationals, that many of the companies are right now using, are not using network automation in their organizations. Now, the manual changes leads to the configuration errors and inconsistency in the network, obviously. So let's consider that you have two switches and both you need to upgrade at the same time, means on the same day, right? So by mistake, rather than pushing the image of switch number 1, see, let's consider these both are from different different catalyst background, and you have by mistakenly you have pushed the image on switch number 2 of switch number 1. So it's a human error, right? So guys, Python will not do any human error unless and until you have to write your code carefully, right? So if you're writing your code carefully, it will be one time go, right? You just need to write your code at a one time, and you can use this code as many time as you want. Let's say you are upgrading your switches now. After 1 year or 2 year, if there is a client requirement to upgrade to clear the vulnerabilities, you can use the same code. No need to invest the time to upgrade those switches. Now, expanding the network changes to be problematic, obviously. So automation is doesn't like, guys, upgrading something and do not deal with that. What is like, if let's say I'm upgrading router and there is a issue, if there is an issue with the router image, and this router could go to the Roman mode. So for the Roman, dealing with this Roman mode, Python could help you, right? So automation is like end-to-end automation. It doesn't look like that if you're automating only we are pushing the codes. No, it's a smart device, a smart code language. So we have to deal with every single perspective of the code, right? Let's move ahead with different slides. Now let's talk about something about Python. So Python has been developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991, guys. And in 1999, it's open for all the users. And guys, see, just concentrate on this 2006. In 2006, it has been a most popular language in the world, but it took almost 6 years or 7 years to be most popular. After this, I believe Java has been came, and it is too popular rather than Java, rather than Python. But right now, why Python has been hot kicking market, that I'm going to tell you. See, now guys, most of the organization, I can say 80 or 90% of the organization are now using Python in their companies to develop many things, not only network, to develop any software background as well, to framework, Django and all, right? So for this, first of all, Google has started, because GVR was in Google only, and from Google now Dropbox, Quora, Firefox, YouTube, and recently Instagram has also started using Python. Now let's take example of what are the advantages of Python. So it's interactive and easy and simple rather than other programming language. If you have some knowledge about other C++, even though in the college, it be sure that it is very easy to learn rather than any other programmings. So this is general and quick, I can say, difference in between two language. This is Java, this is Python. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines converted to only single line, right? So this is the magic of Python, and that is the reason Python is fast as compared to the another programming language. So guys, I want to tell you one more thing, that there are two versions of Python. Python 2.0, Python 3.0. 3.0 is the latest one, and hence we are using it for the network automation, right? So before jumping to the lab, I want to clear one more thing with you guys. See, here in our class, we are using Python 3, right? Python 3, which is the latest one. Second name as IDE, right? Integrated development environment. What is IDE is like? It's after installing Python, we need some user interface that could help us to write the Python codes. So there are multiple IDEs. You could use anything. First of all, PyCharm, right? Notepad++, Google Colapse and all. But here we are going to use PyCharm in our class. And the last and most important thing is our network stuff, right? Our network. So here we are going to use JNS3 and EVNG, both, right? So we are using both. Don't worry about the lab setups and all right now, at least on this stage, right? So this is all our background of our particular theory part, right? So quickly, I'll just share the syllabus of our class. Give me a sec now, I believe. Give me Okay, I'm done. So let's share my screen. Module 1. See guys, let me zoom in for you. Okay, see guys, we have 4 modules,
Can you
right?
just
So
zoom it more?
yeah, go ahead.
No, can you zoom it? Yeah, it's fine.
Perfect. So guys, basically we have 4 modules with us, right? We have 5th, but it's an add-on module for you. We will talk about this in live class. So module 1 is completely basics of Python from the scratch, right? Because for automating the network, guys, you need to learn Python first, which is at least which is required for network that you need to learn. So here it will include our overview of Python, installation of the software labs, fundamentals, which includes the keywords, variables, and all. Now the number strings and operators, how we can deal with those, we are going to see that as well. Now then we have data types, which is the most important part. What type of data that we are dealing with? Then we have list, tuples, and dictionary. See guys, this is a very important topic which will gonna cover at least a 50% part of the Python, right? Even though not only for the network background, if you're dealing with any Python code, you're gonna see this list, tuple, or dictionaries. Now then conditional statement, if else statement that we saw, that if this particular errors are too high, then shut down the interface, that is comes under this part, right? Then file handling, let's take an example. If you want to deal with any of the files, text file, XML file, or JSON file, that we're gonna see, as well as the exception handling. If there are any errors in between, then how to deal with that errors. Now APIs, we are going to tell you that how APIs work in the firewalls, right? And how we can segregate with XMLs and the JSONs. So this is all module number 1. Now module number 2. Let me zoom this as well. So guys, module number 2 completely.
Little bit
Uh,
zoom.
so module number 2 completely depends on your automation of the routers and switches. Let's say Cisco devices, right? Any network equipment. So this include Telnet lib, Paramico, Netmico, and Napam. These are the 4 libraries, or we can say packages, that I was telling about. This has been already developed by Python developers. Now we are using those packages to automate our network, and each of the package include 12 to 13 labs, which also include advanced labs. So advanced lab is like, it's a basic advanced thing that you can do. You can play with your devices, right? So this particular telnet lib, if you want to deal with any devices which is configured by telnet, Paramico for SSH, Netmico is also for SSH, and right now just recently launched Napam that we are going to deal with. This is a new module, and hence we are learning that new module. Now multi-threading concept, in detail I'll just tell you after in the class, regular classes, what is multi-threading. But it's a very important thing, because if you want to deal with 5 or 6,000 devices at a single time, then you need to use multi-threading. Then Excel handling, if you need to pull any report, if you want to fetch any report from the Excel to the Excel, that we will gonna learn with the help of Excel handling. Now module 3 is completely ASA, right? So I believe it is visible now. So ASA, we have 5 labs in ASA. We are dealing with how we can deal with ASA firewall, how we can configure those um, ASA firewall and all. So that is all module number 3. Let's move ahead with module number 4 now. So module number 4 includes Palo Alto, guys. Palo Alto firewall. So what Palo Alto firewall will gonna work over here is, we will deal with the XML APIs, sorry, XML and APIs, right? We will gonna work with JSON as well. We're gonna see how we can install frameworks in Palo Alto, how to push the policies, how to create the object automatically. And believe me, within 2 seconds you can push almost 200 policy in a one go, right? So this is a very good thing for APIs. So that's it about network topics that we have. And let me quickly go to the labs. So this is our lab, guys. So this is a lab for our SIE, which is Skills Inspiration Academy. We have this lab with us. Right now, I have just turned on this switch, right? So this switch has been configured already with the IP of 192.168 1.221, right? So let me zoom it for you. Right, so this switch has an IP of 192.168.1.1, which has already been configured in a SSH, right? So let's quickly go to our lab. So guys, one thing I want to be clear with you guys, before automating to any network, you need to check the connectivity. That is the basic thing. And this is a good practice. If you're automating any network, check the connectivity first before sending the code to the devices. So I'm just checking the connectivity, right? See, I'm able to ping my device. Right? Don't worry about this particular time. It is taking time because the lab is on Google Cloud. So now let's automate. Let's try to. So guys, I was talking about, I guess, the IDE, right? So here, this is the PyCharm. I'll gonna tell you how we can use PyCharm and all in our labs. So again, don't worry about that as well. So guys, let's here I'm using module or package name as netmiko, right? So from netmiko, let me write and I'll explain. Import connect handler. So guys, this is like we have a package name as netmiko, right? Right now in this demo section, just understand packages like this is a file name as netmiko, and inside this file there is an object name as connect handler, right? So connect handler is just a object which is there in netmiko, right? You can say you can consider like file inside file. So what I'm doing is I'm telling Python go to netmiko first, and from netmiko import everything which is written into the connect handler, right? So this is the first line is saying. Let's move ahead. Now I'm just creating one variable. Variable is just a box, guys. In detail, we will learn in the second class. Device type. This is a dictionary. I was telling that if you are reading or if you're going with the dictionary part, if you learn the dictionary part, each and every program should include the dictionary, right? So this is a very important part. So my device type is Cisco iOS device I'm dealing with, right? Then here I'm just writing the IP of my device, right? So what is the IP of my device? We have seen 192.168.1.221. Then I have already given the username, right? I have given the username to my device, which is Dheeraj, which is the username. Then last thing is password. So I'm just writing password over here. Password is Cisco I have set, right? Here guys, there is a red line is coming. I hope you are able to see this. So that is the reason we are using PyCharm as a IDE, because it is very smart to understand where is the error, right? So if there is an error, PyCharm will give you this red line. So we are got to know that, okay, there is a something that we are missing over here. So here I'm just missing comma. If I hit comma, this red line will go. See, right? So this everything that we have set up over here. Now here until this, I hope I'm clear. Now iOS is an object. We can consider this is a box. Inside that box, we are saving a compartment like device type, IP, username, password, right? All the data that we have over here in the iOS bar. Now, second step, I'm again creating one particular object name as net connect, right? You can give any name, guys. It's not mandatory to give the same name. So now I'm using some functions which is there already there in the connect handler. Connect handler, I hope you are recalling, which is the file under netmiko. So there are function. Now I'm using those functions over here. So the first function is like whatever the data I'm saying connect handler, that whatever the data I have in iOS, I need to segregate or I need to distribute or I need to unpack those data, right? You can say this is a zip file we are used to extract, right? So I need to extract those data with the help of connect handler. So what I will do for extracting, we are using Quarks data type here. Don't worry, we will gonna see what are the Quarks data type in a live lecture. Then for the user, I'm just printing some message to the user to get user friendly. It's like entering to the, or let's say entering the enable mode, right? So here enable mode. So until here, what we are dealing with is like, let me explain in the network background. So here we are importing and all. Here we are dealing at this line. At this particular line, we are dealing with like this. We are doing SSH -L, Dheeraj, and then IP. We are again and hit enter. After hitting enter, username and password that we have already given, right? So after hitting password, we are now here at this line. So here there will be a message that entering into the enable mode, right? So after entering to the enable mode, this particular mode will be there in front of us, but we are not writing anything. We are just until this point in via programming. So for writing, for entering to the enable mode, we need to use one object, or we can say a command name as enable, right? If you write this command, we are into the enable mode. So until this, let's take an example. We are over here, username and password, we are over here, right, in the user mode, right? I hope you are aware of 3 modes, right? So here we are here. After this enable command, we are just hitting enable, and now we are here, right? So until this I am clear. Let's move ahead, right? Let's check that what mode I am are, right? So find prompt will gonna print. See, printing means showing something on the screen. So I'll just show the prompt, whatever the prompt. So until enable, after this command, my prompt will be, my mode will be this, right? So this will gonna print it, right? See guys, please be careful with the step by step. Now here what I'm do is, let's do a simple program. I want to check the show interface IP status, right? Show IP interface status. Again, I'm creating one variable, and here I'm now sending the command, right? So net connect, simple command is send command, right? It's a module, sorry. It's a command for sending anything on the devices. So here you can quickly write show IP interface brief. You can write your command. That's it. And you can quickly print the details. Simple. That's it about your code. Now this code will give you the output. Let's run this code. See, this code has been running now in the background, right? So entering to the enable mode, I was telling you, first is switch one. This is the current mode that we have, right? And then this is what the output. This is the first code, right? As let's say this is the evening batch, I can also use another program. Let's configure OSPF, right? Configure OSPF on this router. Let me check that I have enable IP routing or not. Either I should have. Let's turn on this router. I don't see. Okay. Let's go to this switch first. Let's try something else rather than let's try to create the let's try to fetch the show running config, right? So we will see a lot of labs, but here let's try to show running config only. Right? Simple, just we need to replace the show IP interface web via show run, and let's check the output. See, again, it will now give you the first thing first, name as entering to the enable mode, right? Then switch one, and now see guys, it is now taking time because the output will gonna take time. And now I am able to see entire configuration of the device. So that's it about demo from my end, guys. If you have any questions from now, I guess SI guys